Hey YouTube, Mike here. How we doing today? I hope we all had a very good week and safe. I hit the 3,000 subscriber mark. Matter of fact, I think it's 3,015. And come this Friday will be my 1-year anniversary. So I'm going to be posting a video on my anniversary. And just like at my 1,000 subscriber mark, this time we're going to be giving away a Veto Pro small, actually, bag, shoulder bag. I don't happen to have it. It hasn't come in yet, but I will show it on the 1-year anniversary video. And then you comment, just make a comment, and again, you'll be put on a piece of paper, put into a hat, and in 1 week we'll have a drawing. Okay, but again, thank you very much. I never in a million years thought I would do this well with the videos and the subscribes. I greatly, from the bottom of my heart, and my family is totally blown away by it too. They greatly appreciate the support. Just a quick update on the knee. They finally determined what it was, and I have a torn meniscus and a cracked kneecap. A stress fracture, as they said. So I'm actually in a knee brace and I'm crutches. I'm supposed to be off of it, but I got to do what I got to do. I have scheduled for an operation on it at the beginning of next month. Okay, today's video, I'm just going to sit here and lean and hobble on this table. I got a couple of things that I made for the MFT 3 table and a couple of old woodworking jigs that a lot of people really don't use no more, like the shooting board, the bench hook. I made this Vise for the MFT 3 table, and I like to just go over with you and show you how I did it and what we use it for. All right, we'll go with the heaviest of them all. What I did was I needed a metal vise. And I just needed something that I could clamp a piece of metal into it, saw, Dremel, grind, clean off, whatever. So what I did was I just took a piece of stock and basically I built mine 8 by 12. And I positioned it over the holes of the table so that I can then get it to the edge of the table and drop down these 2 bolts right through the 20mm holes, and from the bottom the 5-star finger nuts will tighten up from the bottom, which would make this nice and secure. And now I have a metal vise that I can do whatever I need, not have to clamp it onto the table, and get the grinder wheels grind into the table. We make enough marks on the table to begin with. So it kind of was very convenient. I just keep it stored underneath my miter saw station, and when I'm done, I just pick these up and I just leave them there, so, like where they are. I don't even take them out. They don't really fall out, and then I can, I can store it away. And like I said, it's just 2 of the 5-star finger nuts. Works very well. Little hammer, that flat kind of miniature anvil. Works good for what I use it for. Okay. You guys probably have seen this, what they call it a shooting board. And let me just move this over so I can get this closer. So basically, years ago, before they came out with the miter boxes and chop saws and stuff, woodworkers made this thing called a shooting board. And basically what it is, I used a piece of shelf material because it's nice and smooth. And then a piece of 3/4 inch plywood cut perfectly straight on the table saw, and then a piece of pine that's screwed in, not glued, and we'll go over that in a second. Then on the back is a hook, a bench hook, something similar to this old style bench hook, which we'll go over in a minute. And then basically what it does is it hooks into your bench. You can make them in all different configurations. Again, my overall length is 12 by 24 with a 9-inch board. This piece here is your 0 clearance. Now there's a few different ways you could do this. You can actually have this cut right here without this piece, lay this in, like you can even use a good piece of hardwood, but if you do, make sure the grain is as straight as possible, because shrinkage, this thing will shrink and not become square anymore. I basically screwed mine down. Now I have 3 more of these on the side, because eventually you're going to lose the zero clearance of this piece right here when you're running your plane through it. So you would lay this down and then put another piece up in here so it would be in almost like a groove. And then you can bolt through, you can put T-bolts through the back, you can bolt these through with oblong holes so you can actually move this back and forth as the zero clearance is becoming less and less. Or with I do here, I don't glue mine down, I just take off the screws, put a square on it, put this back down, and screw right back in. And I just keep it's a waste piece, I just throw it away and use the next piece. So basically, I think you people can see what's going on here. With the shooting board, the plane will sit into this groove. You'll feed your stock, hold it with your thumb, get it into this thing, onto the shoe of the plane, and then just go right across. And you can see the shavings that came off, and you're nice and square. Okay, but I went one better. I says, well, why do I need to have this so I would take this bench hook, and the bench hook basically is a device that, you know, you measure what you need, you get your saw up against it, hold it down good with your thumb, and you saw your piece off, and now you got your length you need. So what I did, now you normally would have to square this up, you know, get it nice and square. So what I did with the shooting board, I spun using this now as a bench hook. I spun this thing around and I cut a groove into this bottom, putting a bunch of screws in, and now I actually have almost like a miter box. Cut my piece, flip my shooting board over, get my plane. Now remember, you can build this whatever size you want, smaller. I built this for when I was making the slot car boxes. Small pieces, the trim on the doors. That's what I used it for. It was easier because I had to do, say, 14, 16 of them. I just have them here, cut them to length, flip them over, take my plane, and you could use a block plane, any plane, with a nice flat, and then just square it up, nice and square. That's it. You have one little device for everything. Now, one thing to bear in mind. The reason that you're not gouging into this is because on the shoe, the blade does not come down all the way. The second thing is, if you do make one in a groove with the oblong holes, you have to cut the bottom of this kind of like on a, almost like maybe a 45 or a 30 degree, and that will accept this thing running past it nice and smoothly. So that's the only thing, but this one here is the fastest and simplest. If you want one, I can actually email you or fax you the dimensions of this board. And it was all scrap. This was 3/4 inch shelf board, a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, 2 pieces of pine, rip this edge right here nice and square on the table saw, and this edge here too, I did both edges nice and square, lined it up with a square, clamped it, glued it, heavily glued it, and let it set. And then this piece here is not glued in because it's sacrificial. This piece here is glued in, and then just cut in your miter slot for your little miter box. Okay. The bench hook, as you saw, and it's good. The bench hook, it's a 1x4, squared up edges cut on the chop saw. Put a square up against it, clamp it, glue it, screw it, and it basically, I mean, you could use it anyway, but this is the square edge. And the way you know it is that the screw, if you see the screws, it's not just square edge. That's how I did it. That's how I did it with the shooting board. I mean, excuse me, with the bench hook. And that's it. And you can make them this big. You can make them any size you want. I just needed a small one because actually what I was doing was I was cutting small little like 1/4 by 1/4 inch pre-made. You can buy them in like the home store. That was holding the slot cars in. So I had to make 8-inch ones. I had to, I could make up to 20 of them. So that's what I was using this for. And eventually what I did was I went to one of those, I ended up getting one of these small little aluminum miter saw boxes, little chop boxes with the little back saw. But I've used that hundreds of times. Okay. Sandpaper cutter. Basically, it's about 12.5 by 12.5. Just a piece of sandable plywood with hacksaw blade, and I don't know if you could see it. There's tiny little washers underneath the hacksaw blade to lift it up off the piece of plywood. 1 inch. Now, actually, they're like 1 1/16 to make up the difference of what you're losing with the front. So these are the 1 inch increments up to 6 inches because your sandpaper is 12 by 12. Your piece of sandpaper, so say I want to cut a 2-inch piece of sandpaper. You pull it, you put it onto your 2-inch mark, hold it down. And now you have a piece of 2-inch sandpaper. Very simple to make, probably cost $2 to make it. And now I have pre-cut pieces of sandpaper that I leave inside the drawer. All right, then for those that haven't seen this thing, this is one of those little carry file folders you get at Office Depot and Staples. What I did was I put my sandpaper in it. So on the tabs, I write, if I can get this damn thing to stay open. On the tabs, I write 150 grit, 100 grit, but I also put the paper in backwards so I could read the back of the paper. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, no, it's 10 slots for 10 different pieces of paper. And I keep Festools. See, 240 grit, that's the Festool, the new sandpaper. 120 grit, holds the whole pack. Well, you could put 30 sheets in here if you wanted to. And then that went in there. But very inexpensive, and I keep it tucked away at my sandpaper, where the sandpaper covers. Okay, I hope this was helpful. And if anybody wants, like I said, the dimensions of this, just shoot me a message, and you know, my email is always provided, because if you want a Mike Woodshop sticker, just email me your mailing, and we'll send one out. And in the email, just say, hey, here's my info. Can you send me the dimensions, and I'll sketch it out, and I'll have my daughter scan it and send it right over to you. All right, YouTube. Again, I greatly appreciate all of the subscribes, and this ain't gonna hold me up. I got a ton of tool reviews. I got a bunch of new tools that I got that I've used, and I'm gonna set up the table. I'll sit down with the camera. Just to let you know, the DeWalt 60 volt max stud drill that I had at the new tool review that I did on them. We used it on a house rough. The thing is a monster. With a 60-volt battery, a 3 5/8 bit, drills through with power to spare. Unbelievable. We drilled 9 3 5/8 holes, and I'm not sure of how many 2 5/8 holes. I don't know if it's 4 or 5 within minutes. Drilled right through the 2x6s without even blinking an eye. Power to spare. Nice, comfortable, and I gotta take back what I said about the Jacobs chuck. It's the new style Jacobs chuck, and I don't have it. It's sitting now on the truck. It's the new style. It's a click Jacobs chuck. It clicks in every couple of turns. So what I ended up doing was keeping a Milwaukee Quick Connect extension in it, and then we just swapped out the bits. I never played with the Jacobs chuck the whole day we used it. And whether we used it up in the air, on the side, and down, the thing is very comfortable. It has the equal power to the Milwaukee Super Hog. So I just want to let you know that's really the only tool that we extensively use, but I'll do a nice review on that. Okay, YouTube, again, I'm going to include my email. Anybody who wants a Mike's Woodshop sticker, please include your contact info in the email, and I will mail you out a sticker. Okay? You all have a nice day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.